Bing, bing, bing. We're live. It is Sam and Nicola. It is the local support meeting. Feels, I think, did we have one last week? I don't even recall. Anyway, yeah, here we are, and I shall get the. It's a good opportunity just to review what we're up to. Stella is here as well. Hey, Stella.
Hey.
Hey there.
Good show. And Faith is here. Hey, Faith. Hi there.
Hello.
Hey.
How are you?
Faith and Stella, have you met each other before?
Yes. She introduced me to this.
Right. Okay. There we go. Right. Yeah, you know each other through the Rails girls, then. Yeah. That makes great sense. Wonderful. Wonderful. Okay. Good show. Come on. Come over here. Right. So we have not the first local support meeting of the year, but first one I can remember. I'm just Faith, a little bit of a background noise there. So local support. What we usually just quickly do is we check in to see if anybody's got any sort of trouble issues that they're stuck on, or things that they need to get resolved in the meeting. So Nicola, as regards local support, anything on your mind particular?
No, the only thing is to talk maybe a little bit about the callback that we want to implement on the organization controller regarding the show caller sham. And I think that nothing else.
Okay. Yeah. You also.
No.
Yeah, you were telling me before the meeting about. So there's also this work on the newsletter, and we had a discussion about the structure for that. And I think you're keen to do some reading around that area.
Sure. Yeah.
And I was just thinking, is there a really good? What's the best? I should maybe think about, like you mentioned, the RSpec book. There's, I think one of the. Have you read any books by Sandy Metz?
I'm starting with that one. Yeah, I read the first chapter. I'm starting the second one.
Is that of the which one? The Pooter book, the Practical Object. And there's also
that one. Yeah.
There's another one called 99 Bottles. Yeah. Okay. So I think that's kind of that's going to be some really good reading for you.
Cool.
So we'll come back to this one here. Let's check in with Stella. So yes, Stella, is there anything on your mind about the project, or anything that you're stuck on, or information that you need?
So far I saw that Nick has already started working on the active job. So I think I need to catch up with him because I don't know how to implement that.
Okay, no problem. Yeah.
Then we can work together from there.
Yeah, I mean, Nicola's made a start on that, and we had a discussion before about the structure for that. And so, yeah, maybe when Nicola gets comfortable with the reading around, the two of you can communicate, coordinate.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's good. Show. And then we've got Faith great to have you with us, Faith. We've got you set up with access to the Pivotal Tracker. You don't have to have any questions, but is there anything that's on your mind? Anything that you need? Any questions that you have?
Not for now, but I'll definitely have questions. Lots of questions, but not for now.
Excellent, no problem. Nothing at the moment. That's fine. We'll just go to myself then. So, yeah, the big thing is trying to arrange a meeting with the client, which I have now done. I think it's now set for March the 1st. She turns out to be much busier this year, but that's okay. I get other things on my mind is probably about doing a review of the board and of the pull requests. I think we're in not too bad shape. We've I'm very pleased with upgrade to Rails 5. We've been able to get Nicola. You can now do a full deploy, can't you, on local support, Nicola, and take it all the way to production. So that's wonderful. So yeah, I guess the main thing that we could look at is this, callback structure, organization controller. I'm just we've got all these things to sort of talk to the client about. I guess I mean, I guess there's an extent to which, Nicola, in terms of like this is a new refactoring ticket, isn't it?
Yeah, it's this one. I created the there.
Is there?
Hangout.
I'm just noticing that you've got some open items. Are they ones here that kind of should be finished first, or maybe they are finished and we haven't closed them, or?
Well, the thing with that one, we were working with Brent, and the only thing is that maybe we can close it and just finish that issue and open another one only for how the client would like to manage the tables when you have a mobile view, because now that is why that issue is open.
Sure.
Because,
Yes.
for example, you have a little tiny screen like an iPhone 5, or you have to scroll it, and I don't know. Maybe there are some kind of shrinking on the tables that we can do.
Yeah. No, and I'm happy to leave it open if the and that's Brent might be back in a week or two, and that's absolutely fine. I guess it's just the thing to do is before starting work on new ones, and maybe you've already done this, but just to review,
what is open and work on that.
Yeah, anything that's open, because ideally you want to kind of close out one thing before moving on to the next. Just having a look on these, and I guess also we've got some of these things, like since you've now moved them to production, you can click deliver on them.
Okay.
So do feel free to run through that. Like, so I think you've done some of them, and like move the gems. In the past, I was usually the one who did the production, so I would press deliver. But that's the other thing to do when you do a production push, is to click deliver to sort that out.
Perfect.
So, and then I think we've got other ones that, anyway. But as I was saying, and Brent was doing a bit of this. Please do spend. If you want to, you can definitely really help by, if there are things. I'm just noticing. What was I noticing here about the breadcrumbs? Like some of them might be that they are actually finished, and so if you can see that it's like working on production, then just click finish and click deliver.
Okay.
That helps us kind of clear out the board there. So then
I will do it.
Yeah, sorry.
No, that I will do it. I will move it to.
Fantastic. And so I mean, Faith, you were expressing an interest in this this issue, and I think we could definitely use help on that one. Sigu and Ebba sort of kind of said like, oh well, we're not gonna fix this, but I would really like us to upgrade to a most recent version of Node and make sure everything works there. So if you can help us do that, that would be fantastic.
Cool.
So then, and I mean, I guess the big thing really is that we need to have this client meeting so that we can do accept and reject on all of these different things. Has that really worked there? I don't know. Anyway, but yeah, I don't think we have to spend time on that now. The other thing that we do in these meetings is that we we can vote on stories. So if there's something that people want to work on that hasn't been voted on, then we could do that. But does anybody have any stories that they would like to have, anything from the icebox that they would like to see voted on? And if they don't, I'm tempted to leave it. I mean, if everybody's got things to do, let's not worry about voting, particularly since it's been a while since we spoke to the client. So well then maybe we can just spend the remainder of the time talking about this callback organization. You were saying that there's a ticket for that. Nicola.
I created the ticket because I didn't want to forget your suggestion on the comment. So I closed the original pull request, and here you have the link in Hangouts.
Yeah, sorry, I had it partially off the screen. Yeah, I've got it now. Yes. Right. And yeah, I think it was, so this is move geocode or call an organization model to service. And so was this,
Yes.
did we vote on this before?
No. I just
It's-
put it one because I thought that it was gonna be easier. I started working on it.
Okay.
We can vote on that one. Yeah.
We could do, yeah,
Because
yeah.
when I started to work on that one, I said, but it should be like a method that it goes only inside, because it's not after or and it's not before the action, because in the middle we are doing things in the middle of the method that creates. Yeah. So yeah, no, I thought it was gonna be easy. Yeah.
Easy,
No,
but yeah,
it
well, and
wasn't.
that's the kind. It's often the way. I mean, that's partly why we do the vote. And anytime you want to start working on something, there's no need to like. Well, I'm saying is you don't have to wait for a meeting. You can always just come into the local support channel and start a asynchronous vote. So
How was the way to start it?
yeah, I'll show you. So basically, if we want to start, that's the wrong thing. Come back here. Yeah, if you want to start a vote, and you can do it at any time. Obviously, we can do it in the meetings as well. But it's like /voter,
Yes.
and you can do /voter help to get the instructions on how to
I
do
have
it.
to take notes. Yep.
Yeah, and then so basically we'll just do /voter, and then so this is refactor geocoding validation. And then the URL, and then it should start if it's all working. There we go. So we can do a vote on that.
Yes.
In a moment. But first, what we've got to do before we vote on it is like understand the issue. And I think that this all came up in the context of you were getting ready to work on the newsletter and you were reloading the seeds, multiple times, and you were finding that was all very slow. And
yes,
one of the reasons seemed to be that even if we created an organization that had a preset latitude and longitude and an address, was that it would still like do the geocoding and be reaching out to Google or what have you and so on. And that's because the way we have it set up in the organization is that, is it right? Is it an organization? I think it is.
In base organization.
That's the confusing thing is because it's in base, right? That's base organization, not in organization. So we've got this after validation. And this is now the way, you've changed it now, haven't you? For originally,
I have
it was just this.
Earlier return. Yep, exactly.
You've got an early return here, like so. So originally it was just this line, and what it was saying is, if the address has changed or the postcode has changed, then we should do. So what that means is that when somebody updates an organization in the system, then that's changing the postcode or the address. That's a good time to rerun the geocoding operation. And I think the idea is that that's kind of for the update, and then this one is kind of for the situation where like it's first created. Then maybe I'll just need to switch back to the development. Was that what it was originally? Or let me just get back on. Check out, because we merged in one set of changes, didn't we? Okay, yeah. I know, right. They're in the pool. We haven't merged them in yet. Yeah. So, and so I think the problem that you identified was that when you create it, it's marked as address changed or postcode changed. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And when you create it, it is dirty anyways.
Right, and this is kind of a check for dirty, right?
Yeah. The only thing is that when you have an update, it will show you the value that you had before. But when you create the object, it will show you an empty string because we have the default on our schema.
Right. And then that was.
I think that is for that. Yeah.
Right. And so what we, I mean, the life cycle hooks in Rails, such as before validation, after save, all these different things, are potentially very convenient, for things that you know always want to happen, but they've been talked about as a bit of a design smell. I don't know if you're aware of the kind of like the go-to function, right? As a design,
Yeah,
as
yeah.
that you're
The
kind
one
of
that it
like,
was used like a long time ago, right?
that's right. And the problem with the go-to thing is it basically means that you can kind of arrive and you're running some code, but you don't know where you've come from if you're trying to analyze the code afterwards.
Yeah.
Now, and that's sort of the same here, actually. If you there's an argument that's been made to say that these kind of lifecycle hooks are a bit like go-to, in that we have exactly this sort of problem here. Is actually we only want the geocode to run under certain circumstances. It might be the case that I'm fiddling with some stuff on the command line. It's actually the time when we really want this to happen. I would argue is now the time when I would want that is probably when it's coming in through the controller. So if we go and look at it's going to be organizations controller. What base organizations? What's that? Oh, and do it organizations. Yeah, organizations. So I guess the alternative to having the callback would be to have it such that we have a geocoding event that we explicitly kick off from after like the organization is saved. We could be saying here organization geocode. You know what I mean? And
Yes.
now I guess what we want to make sure is that we, in this context, if it's being created through the web interface, then we do want to geocode it. Similarly for, I guess it hasn't got update in here, or it has. Yes, here we go. Or similarly in here. I mean, these are like, you might argue, not ideal in terms of, we're increasing the method length here, where perhaps Rubicop will complain at us. But this would kind of give us back control of, pointers that we would be saying we only want to geocode when we've actually received, when we've received information through the web interface to either create or update it, and we've successfully saved it.
Yes.
And what that will mean is, of course, all the other
we'll have
ways
to open the ocean again, and we'll have to do another save, right? It's going to be an update again and another save.
Well, I mean,
after
you can just, all of that can be inside the geocode. So for example, what we would, if we were doing it this way, let's have a look at the organization, is that rather than having space organization, rather than having like run geocode call from here, like that, we would just
have a method called geocode.
we would basically put, we could still have the logic encoded inside there, or it could be in here, but it could basically, we'd have you could almost make this a check geocode method, say, like so, and then in the base organization, instead of having that validation, we'd have make this a run an individual instance, and then we could do effectively this geocode if run geocode, right?
Yeah.
And so we'd be taking the after validation thing out and just saying, we will choose when to do this, rather than it being after every time that that an object is validated.
Yeah, I get it. Perfect.
So I mean, I'm not saying that this is the perfect way to do it, and it's sort of, we've got kind of a balance here, because the big question is, how worried are we about that situation where a an individual organization would have the incorrect latitude and longitude coordinates. And what this is trying to do is it's trying to make sure that it's very difficult for that ever to be the case. We're trying to impose kind of a strong constraint, but actually at the moment, because the way the site has evolved, and if we look at the system, we've moved the organizations off into the background here. The idea was that people would be coming in here and updating their addresses, and that would then require updating the positions on the map and so on. But we can see actually, no one has updated any of the addresses in the last year.
Yeah.
And that's partly why we've moved to the volunteers being the focus. And what we're going to be moving to do is we're going to have the organization data being pulled from the government database and being updated automatically. And there'll be a specific point that we want to definitely want to geocode it at that point. And, so we can kind of take control of that business. So it's sort of, for me personally, I'm like, rather than worrying about perfect consistency in a part of the system which doesn't seem to be that important to people, we can make it, a bit more explicit control. It means we can make things easier for our developers.
For us, yes.
And then hopefully by doing that, we can deliver on whichever parts of the system are more important to the users.
Perfect. Yes, I get it.
Yeah. Yeah. And what it makes me think about here with these things is how it's a funny kind of logic here, in as much as, particularly if we start to get complaints, like almost this kind of logic here.
Yes.
See, like there's kind of there's a very similar pattern there. It feels like if we were really gone.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, like, there's kind of a pattern here. Like we could, this thing could become a method where we are passing, what is the thing that we want to do. Are you familiar with the
ghost method?
So say again.
Maybe we could use a ghost method.
A ghost method. Yeah, I was going to call it maybe like the strategy pattern. Or it's almost like strategy or template pattern from the Gang of Four.
I don't know the patterns, but
yeah, I mean, when I look at these two pieces of code, I can see that there are some parallels, right? So I can kind of almost imagine, like if I called this, this is like, what do I call this? This is like, I could just call this organization. I don't know the right word, organization refresh, let's say. Then I don't like that title, but there's certain parallels. Like basically we're calling a method here. So this is like, we've got like
send.
Yeah, send or call. I always get confused. Send. So then we've got like methods and then args. And then we've got, so we put that in there like method args, and then we've got notice, and then we've got action, like so. Then I can pull out, like, so that's the notice there. And then that's the action. And then, so in principle with this, I could then replace this with organization refresh, and then I take, so the method name, and then I take the args. It's just a single arg, really. And then I take the notice, and I take the action.
You can just delete.
And then, goodness, what is it doing? No! Ah! It's suddenly, somehow I've turned it into a, it turned it into like I don't know, it's like a new RubyMine feature. It turned it into a keyword parameters list. Okay,
Yeah.
oh, no, I think it's trying to help me. It's trying to help me, maybe.
Yeah, it's trying to say what you are sending me.
Yeah. And then so effectively we lose that, and we have a much shorter method. Of course, we then have to balance that against, probably for novice developers, this is easier to understand. And we've also got to think about.
But the thing is that we are. Yeah, well, we are using send. They will have to know what is.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of a balance thing there. I mean, there's also, I don't know that I've named it very well. It's kind of, so I think I just mentioned that there. It's like in anticipation of the fact that we might make that change, and then Rubicop will complain and we'll get the code climate. I mean, you could argue that, that if we're a group as we are with lots of new people coming in, that it's maybe simpler to leave it like this with a slightly longer method. It depends. Anyway, I just sort of I want to give options, and then people can put pull requests in, and we can discuss more or less. Anyway, so is that, I think, any other, does that, or we covered this point then?
Yeah.
Okay.
Covered. Yep.
So of course, and now, so we come to the vote.
Yes. Yes.
I've been talking for so long, we forgot that there was a vote. But so yeah, and so basically the idea is move this function. Rather than having a validation, let's do something else. You were talking there about, I mean, it could be moved into a service almost with this amount of code. I don't know that it's worth moving into a service. Just stay there. But now that we've discussed it, does everybody feel ready to vote on how complex they think it's going to be?
Yes.
So yes, Stella's already voted. And so, yeah, Faith, I don't know if you've done this before, but so we have like 1 point for a simple change, 2 for medium, 3 for hard, where usually if it makes changes in the database, then we might say that starts to be medium, or if it's a new gem that we're using, a big really big refactoring. And then if it's like some combination of those things, might be hard. But if it's just changes to the code structure or changing the view or what have you, then we might say simple. So I'm going to just do my vote on there, and Faith's done her vote. We can click reveal and see. Yeah, so we've gone. So the majority is for simple, and then Stella, you've said medium. Do you want to tell us a bit more about why you're thinking medium?
And so you get to know what's really happening. Like someone can't just start working on it. You have to first understand what's going on.
Yeah, it's definitely more difficult to understand. And I probably made it, I mean, this refactoring that I was just showing here, that doesn't have to be done. So probably the only change would be the changes needed to be made here. Just to remove the validation, and then have a hook that we can call when we want to, and then call that from the controller. But so do you still think that it would be a medium rather than a simple? Well, I guess I should say, Nicola, do you want to say why you were thinking it was simple rather than medium?
I was thinking that it's simple because the logic that we have to move is from the active how was the filter? The callback is the callback that we have in the base organization model to the controller. Is kind of is the validation. We have to move it only, and we don't have to implement nothing new. That is why I was thinking that is simple. And also the refactoring, it doesn't need to be applied. So
right. Yeah. And Faith, does that match your understanding?
What exactly?
Oh, well, you voted for simple, and Stella was saying she thought it was a medium because it was quite difficult to understand, and I was apologizing for saying, the refactoring I was talking about was more complicated, but the basic change is relatively simple, and Nicola was kind of agreeing, yeah, it's just about removing this line and adding this lines here. You also voted simple. Did that all what Nicola and myself were saying? That the same reason that you voted for simple, or did you have another reason?
My reason for voting for simple was because you said I only go for simple when it's all about refactoring. But,
Yeah.
So talking about what Stella commented, if you didn't explain, I honestly would have not done any of what you did. Yeah, but I blame it on my knowledge on the language.
Yes. So similarly for, I think, Nicola, when he was originally approaching it, I mean, that's partly why you wanted it discussed, wasn't it, Nicola? Is you were wondering how we can reconnect it. But so I think that, but now for the vote, we need to assume that the person working on the tickets understands what we've discussed now. So I guess, Stella, I guess you would say if the person did understand what they needed to do, then it would be a simple one.
Yeah.
So I think that's maybe what we should do then is let's mark it as simple. If I can find it again. Where's it gone? And try and include a description of exactly what we want. Oh, it's not simple already. Include a description here about what to do so that anybody who starts working on it will know what to do. In the ideal world, we would be, with Agile, we have a team of like 8 of us. Everybody would be involved in voting on the stories for the week, and we get them done and finish them and so on. So everybody would be involved in every discussion. Of course, we have a volunteer community, people come and go. But Nicola, do you want to maybe try and add to the ticket your understanding of what the change needs to be?
Sure.
Yeah, and then that's...
I will add all the things that needs to be done. Yeah.
Yeah. Great.
Sure.
Okay. Good show. All right. Well, I think that's then everything for the meeting, unless anybody else has any other things that we need to look at or talk about.
One thing that I don't know if it is related to, no, it is not related to the to local support. So maybe I can ask you later, or
yeah,
it's related to the professional development channel. If I can ask something.
Yeah, well, I think let's say the meeting for local support is over. But yeah, if you have a general question for Agile Ventures, yeah, go ahead. What's the question?
Yeah, I would like to know if I can ask, for example, I'm trying to get a remote shop, and I want to know what can I improve, or based on the things that I'm doing, because the things that I'm doing are only based on my opinion. So it will be cool to have, the way of thinking of others.
Yeah, absolutely. That's absolutely what the professional development channel is for. Yeah, if you want to talk about your what your goal is, how and the professional development channel has the Agile Ventures mentors, it has the other Agile Ventures premium members in it. So absolutely, just start chatting away, and it may not be so many people get involved in the conversation, but I think everybody will benefit from having the conversation. Okay. Yeah.
Nice.
Good stuff.
Perfect.
Good stuff.
I have an issue with time.
Say again, Stella?
I have an issue with time.
You have an issue with time?
Yes. Can you move it back to 1 hour earlier? Because right now it's 8:10 p.m. and I'm still in the office.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Yes.
okay.
Well, yeah, that's a possibility. Yeah, we can consider that. Yeah, we did move it earlier before, and then you weren't available so much, and then so we sort of moved it back. Possible to move earlier, but so yeah, we can look at moving it earlier, make it easier for you to attend.
Yeah, thanks.
Great stuff. And well, Nicola, should we just try and like this is website 1, but should we just try and see if we can sort you out the DevOps thing? Do you want to just show me? Do you want to share your
Yes.
screen and show me doing
I
the
will share my
deploy,
screen.
and we'll try and sort out your access.
Share. And here, do you see my screen, right?
Yep.
Okay, here's where I did git revise develop. Then I tried to do the git push origin staging, and it says that you are not authorized to push to this branch.
Okay, yeah. Well, let me have. Okay, so I will probably just means that I need to adjust the team settings on Azure Ventures.
Because I think that I have rights over develop, but
Yeah,
because it's the main branch. But
yeah, and we gave you access to the Heroku.
yes.
And we've got you in. Let's have a look at the list of members here. So yeah, so you're in there. Now, what members in that? Repositories, website 1. You've got right on. Push this. I guess that's strange. You've got right on the website 1. I don't know if we've got it so that on website 1 we've got the branches maybe protected so that only admins can push to them. Let me think. If we go to the settings,
maybe
on here, branches, protected branches. So we've, yeah. So these are protect branches that disable force pushing. But
yes.
so but all 3 of these are protected. So we've got this is protect the branch. Yep. But so, for example, with staging, okay. So we've got here restrict who can push to this branch. Specify people or teams allowed to push to this branch, and these. Yeah, okay. But so I think maybe let's. I don't know if I have a team for. So can I put website 1 collaborators in here? Okay. So yeah, I guess. Do I want all of those people to do it? I think what I might be tempted to do is I'll just give. It's just that you know, if we're in a situation where we're trying to fix a bug on production and we need to quickly get stuff onto staging, what we don't want to have is somebody, you know, else making some changes on staging that we don't know about when we're trying to fix a bug. Fix a bug. But so yeah, I'm going to add you there. And do you want to try and push to staging now?
Yes. Push origin station. Yay!
Yeah, and that worked, did it?
Yes. Let's see here. Website 1. No worries about this one because it was one that I created when I was not with the origin modified. So
Right. Okay, cool. And in fact, yeah. I see that we don't have such a restriction on the master, which maybe we should. But so I'll put in there. So there we go. Right, so you should have access
Cool.
on
So
master as well.
we have to now wait and see if everything is working right in station. We have to enter the station server. Is it up always?
No, I same as with local support. I leave the
Perfect.
staging and develop servers off. So just whenever the
Perfect.
deploy has completed, you can turn it on
Yes.
and have a look around. Okay, yeah, and so hopefully you should have, once that's done, you have the permissions to get it out to master as well.
I will do the same. Yeah, with master.
See you all very soon. Bye for now.
Bye bye. See you.
I
Bye.